everyone, this is my third project for Kitaholic Kits for the month of December, and I'm doing another sketch layout. Before I jump into chatting about the actual layout, I just want to apologize for the background noise. I've had to put the fan on because it's so hot right now, and I have done 2 voiceovers and I just physically couldn't do the third without putting this fan on because I am like dripping with sweat. So I apologize for that. This is a texture paste. It's called Cloud Paste, and I am using that. So you would have seen the original sketch. They had like this diagonal strip of mixed media. It is originally a 12 by 12 layout, but I'm changing it to be a 9 by 12 layout. Yep. And so I wanted to add some texture paste using the little stencil that we got in the kit this month. So I'm just using those little hearts, not any other part of the stencil. And so I am using that texture paste and smushing it in with my little applicator there. As you can see there, it looks very blocky. Now, I was aware of this, and so I am going to overlap it at the next step. I am taking the inks that we got in the mixed media add-on this month, and I'm mixing that into the texture paste, which I'm doing here to create like this really beautiful cotton candy pastel pink, which I feel like works well with the pink background paper. And so here I'm going, and I'm just going to overlap these little hearts, and in the end it really loses that sort of like blocky look, especially also because I'm going to layer the paper strip through the middle of this layout. And yeah, it was just fun to get a bit messy with mixed media and to have a little play, and yeah, so in the end it doesn't look quite so blocky. It does look more like it flows. Using my Winsor Newton ink to add some gold splatters before I put my photo on. I'm very proud of myself every time I remember to do that, because I almost always get some sort of splatter on someone's face. And anyway, so I am really just taking scraps of paper here, I think. No, not here, but like down the track. I'm taking lots of scraps of paper just to create these layering pieces. I said in my video last week that using a sketch is a really good idea as like a jumping off point, but at some stage your own creative style comes in, and you start creating in your style versus what it says on the sketch. And that's what I love about sketches. They really help you to be creative, but they also help you to show off your own style and how you do it. Enough rambling there. I am going to take this little strip of flower paper that came from a big 12 by 12 sheet, but I cut it down for another project, and so I'm using that, and I am going to, so I've layered my photo behind some papers, and then I'm actually going to also use my X-Acto knife and cut into that little blue flower, which is what I did in last month's project as well. So I don't know what it is about these flowers, but I did it. And so I'm going to tuck my photo in underneath there. When I'm done here, I realized 2 things. One, I didn't like how much white space there was on the right hand side of that photo, and 2, I didn't like how my mixed media ended up looking towards the bottom of this big layout. So I'm cutting it off, and I'm layering it on a 9 by 12 piece of white cardstock. What this meant, it meant that my doggy just came to join me. This meant that my layout was slightly centered towards the bottom, but I'm going to rectify that by adding a title, not where it says on the sketch, but adding a title on the top of this photo cluster, which evens it out. So just letting you know that that's going to happen. I am creating a little fold up down the bottom and the top. The sketch had like a strip of paper that you can add, but I decided to create these little fold ups, and because there is that beautiful floral paper underneath this page, I thought it was perfect to show that off a little bit. So there we go. That is all good. In terms of the embellishment, I'm actually following the sketch pretty closely. I do have these little flowers, but I didn't, sorry, not flowers, leaf sprigs, but I didn't love the colors. So what I'm doing is I'm taking all those pot plants, or a lot of the pot plants that you can see in that shot, and I'm just going to cut the little plants out of the pot plant part, and that's going to be my little leaf sprigs. I just liked it better that way. I didn't want to use the monstera type leaves. I wanted to use the more spriggy type leaves. So yeah, like I said, I'm actually copying the embellishment clusters pretty much exactly from the sketch. And then, as I said before, I'm adding my title, which is Hello Lovely. Now, this particular photo, it doesn't have a specific story. I don't even remember why I took it. It was in my stash, but it was just such a beautiful photo, and I really wanted to document it. And so I'm just using this opportunity to kind of tell a story about Emila's like infectious joy, and versus a specific story of that photo, if that makes sense. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I'm out of breath because, that's what happens when you're like 36 weeks pregnant. I am adding these little wood veneer hearts. Sorry, that's my dog again. She's scratching herself. I'm adding these little wood veneer hearts to match the hearts in the background. And I'm also adding them in that little like white space down the bottom there. And what's next? I think I'm just going to add my date. And then this layout will be done. Yep, I'm right. So I'm adding my date. This layout will then be completed. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me this week for another Kitaholic Kits design team layout. And I hope you enjoyed seeing how I interpreted this sketch. Bye!